So you'll notice in this one it says solve for x and y, and it also suggests using the addition method. The addition method works perfectly fine here. No trouble with it. You could also use substitution though. For those of you that prefer substitution, solve for this little y right here since it's a plain y, and substitution would work just fine. Alright, so now we're moving on to the second method. It's the same exact concept. You're finding an x and a y. All of mine will solve out and find x's and y's. You won't have any no solutions or infinitely many solutions. They'll all have a solution. But you can work it by this method, which is the addition method. Using your steps on the first page of the notes, it said make sure that every equation is in the form ax plus by equals c. In other words, they're lined up. Make sure your x's are lined up. Make sure your y's are lined up. Even make sure your equals are lined up. And in this case, everything is lined up. Great. The second thing that you want to do is multiply either or both equations by non-zero constants so that the x or y sum is 0. In other words, we want to make the x's opposite or the y's. I'm going to choose x's. So if I look at this x group, I have a 2x and I have a 3x. I know that 2 and 3 both go into 6. So I need to make one of them a positive 6 and one of them a negative 6. It doesn't matter which one. I just need to make them opposites. I'm going to multiply this top row by negative 3. And I'm going to multiply this bottom row by positive 2. Okay, when I multiply the top row, make sure you go all the way across. So I get negative 6x plus 21y equals negative 6. Make sure you go all the way across, even on the constant part. Then I'm going to multiply my second row by 2 so that I get 6x plus 2y equals negative 40. What I was trying to do is make my coefficients opposite so that they add out. It didn't matter if the top one was a negative 6 and the bottom one was positive 6, or vice versa. As long as they're opposite, you're in good shape. Once you get them to be opposite, you're going to add the results. So a negative 6x and a 6x cancel. 23y equals negative 46. Once you get the green statement, you'll divide. And y would equal negative 2. Did the question ask for y? Yes, it did. But it also asked for x. So the way that you're going to find x is go back in, take your green y, and plug it into any of the equations. You can use the top one, you can use the second one, you can use the red one, you can use the blue one. It doesn't matter. Just take that negative 2 and plug it wherever you want. I'm going to go with the top one. So the equation is 2x minus 7y equals 2. Any equation would work. Y, I know, is negative 2. So this would be 2x plus 14 equals 2. So 2x would equal negative 12, and x would equal negative 6. So that's how that one would work. Okay, so let's try one more of these. So in this last one, you'll see that everything's lined up. That's great. Addition method will work nicely. I would not use substitution for this one because all of the x's and y's have coefficients, so you'd have a lot of fractions. So your best bet for this one would be to use the addition method. Okay, you'll notice that it says solve for y. So let's think about this for a second. First of all, it doesn't matter which variable group you decide to eliminate. It doesn't matter. But if you think about it in the front end of the problem, it'll save you a lot of steps. So for this one, it says solve for y. So in my mind, that means I want to keep y. If it wants me to solve for y, let's keep y. So since I want to keep y, that means I need to make my x's be opposite. 6 and 5 both go into 30, so I'm going to turn these into 30s. The top one I'll multiply by -6, and the bottom one I'm going to multiply by +5. So if I multiply -6 out, I get -30x minus 24y equals -42. And if I multiply the 5 through, all the way across, you get 30x plus 35y, and I think that that's 75. Let me double check and make sure. Yep. Great, my x's are opposites. So now that my x's are opposites, I can add up what I have. So the 30x's add out. 35 minus 24 would give me 11y. 75 minus 42 would give me 33. Okay, so let me solve that equation. Did the problem. Ask for y. Yes. So that means y is your answer. Y equals 3. You don't have to do any more work with it. That would be your answer.